Hello and welcome to another Tuesday of Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Ikumi. We're coming to you live from the nation's capital. Today on the program, I speak with a former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, who was a former spokesperson of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Organization, Mr. Ologbondiyan. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
Terry, it's been a while.
It's been ages, and I am glad that I can pull you out to have a conversation.
You really pulled me out.
And it's very crucial. We have a lot happening in the next 3 years as we look towards the November 11 election. We have the Election Petitions Tribunal judgment anticipated. So let me ask you, you've been awfully quiet. I'm wondering if it's deliberate as you anticipate the ruling of the Presidential Election Court.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been unusually quiet. I agree with you, Terry, that I've been very unusually quiet. But it's just that we await the judgment of the tribunal. We await the decision of the Supreme Court on the elections that were held in February. So until that decision is taken, my party, the People's Democratic Party, which I subscribe to, has not given a directive on whether to accept this government or not, pending the determination of issues in the court. And until that is done, I don't want to get involved in the government or administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But a conversation within your party, does it suggest that if the judgment keeps Bola Tinubu in the saddle, your party will be willing to accept it and work with him?
I cannot sit in front of you here, Terry, and say that this is the direction of thought in the party. All I know, or the feelers that I can speak to, is that things remain the way they are, pending the determination of the matter, of the issues.
But then, based on the submissions in court, we have heard different things in the public space, especially from the PDP and the Labour Party with regard to what they anticipate. But from the submissions in courts, do you anticipate that the judgment would go in the favor of the PDP?
I will not put the cart before the horse. I will allow the decisions of the tribunal, or the Presidential Election Tribunal, and possibly the Supreme Court, to be taken.
But the APC is confident that they will win at the court.
That is left to the judges. It is not for APC to determine. And no matter the belief, no matter the current thoughts in the angle of my party, the People's Democratic Party, and the Labour Party, it's all dependent on what the judges will come up with. And the action or inaction that will follow will also be dependent on that. So I'm not prepared to now put the cart before the horse and form a judgment.
No, it's based on, I mean, if you followed proceedings like we've done, you'd almost feel a little confident. I think that's the thing about attending tribunals, because you tend to understand in what direction, if you've presented what seems like enough evidence. Well, if you have confidence in the judiciary, I mean...
In the Nigerian judicial system, you can have confidence. In a judiciary system that made number 4 to become number 1, you have confidence. Well, I'm not foreclosing hope, because we exist even by hope. So I'm not foreclosing hope. And my prayer and my hope is that the panel can serve justice. That is my desire.
But what would be justice? We've heard options like a rerun or an outright declaration of Atiku Abubakar as the winner. Which one do you believe would be justice?
Well, justice will be what the court served at the end. Whether a rerun, whether a declaration of Atiku Abubakar, or whatever they choose. That's what will be justice. After that decision, it will now be left for us to come out and say that, look, considering the weight of evidence before the panel, how did they arrive at this decision? We can come out with that. The other parties can also come out to say that, oh, with the weight of evidence that they provided before the panel, this should not have been there. So whichever way it goes, Terry, let me tell you something. Nigerians are currently going through a lot. And I do not think that it will be responsible on my own part to come out to heat up the polity. I don't want to do that. Let us wait they will get to the
Okay,
bridge.
so while you wait, if the court ruling says there would be a rerun, with the current state of the People's Democratic Party, do you think that the PDP is united enough to go into a rerun election?
Well, a lot of things ought to have happened in the PDP, but they are not happening because of the envisaged outcome of the judgment. And as much as the party is working on that, I think there's a clear-cut direction on the need to keep bonding, should in case we have the opportunity to return to the polls. And that's why a lot of issues are under wraps.
What do you mean by envisaged outcomes?
The envisaged outcome.
Yeah.
The judgment can be favorable.
So, I mean,
And it
as it concerns your party.
As it concerns my party.
Yes.
And it should be favorable. That's the expectation.
You believe that there are people within your party that are not envisaging a positive outcome and perhaps maybe affecting the drive towards the unity of the party?
That is what it is. That's why it is called a party. Every party is a mix. When people say, oh, they are not ideological, I just smile to myself. Because even if you go to the church or you go to the mosque, you find a mix. And a political party is a mix. So not everybody will wake up from his house and come to the public arena and think in the same way. Definitely, there must be people who say, oh, no, this one, I'm not part of it. There will be people who say, oh, I'm wholly part of this. So at the end of it all, you sit down together, you judge, and you come to a conclusion on direction.
I think it's interesting that you think that within your party there are people who do not believe that your presidential candidate can win at the court.
No, I've not said that. I've not clearly said that. I am saying that a party is a mix.
Of people who may believe
or people who may believe or may not. And there's no need to come to the public arena and live in self-denial.
Maybe
certainly, there will be people.
Maybe that is why that there are rumors of a possible collaboration among the PDP, the NNPP, and the Labour Party. Have you heard those rumors as well?
Yes, there are such reports.
Are they rumors or are they confirmed? I know discussions are ongoing because I had asked the Labour Party who said, the spokesperson of the Labour Party who said that discussions have been going on way before the elections.
Correct.
And they still continue till now.
Correct.
But are those discussions centered around a possible collaboration with regard to the rerun election?
Terry, I can't speak to it because I don't have the facts.
Well, you've heard it.
But it is common knowledge, even on the street.
So what do you make of it?
It's been reported that there are such arrangements to make sure that the three opposition parties
come together.
Strong opposition parties come together to achieve a purpose. And the purpose is that, oh, if there's a rerun, if they can field the candidate. And people even talk about the fact that, oh, the presidential candidate of our party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, paid a visit to Rabiu Kwankwaso, the presidential candidate of NNPP. All those are in public space, and people are deliberating expectantly on them. But to talk in the real terms about what is happening within that realm, I might not be.
Yeah, it's understandable that talks are not yet matured, so you cannot be specific. But is that something that you believe the PDP should be open to?
Whatever can help the situation of Nigeria today. And because the People's Democratic Party is a people's party, my expectation is that they will be open to such discussions. But even those discussions are being held in hope or in the possibility that a certain conclusion will be arrived at. And until we reach that end, I think, like you were asking me, is it concrete? Is it a rumor? Is it a fact? We live within that realm.
You know, let's talk about your party for a little longer now. Yeah, the People's Democratic Party, it's not clear as to what direction you are going. I know that in June you held a retreat in Bauchi State for elected officials, and based on the conversations that were held there, it seemed like a reconciliatory move to bring people together. From June to August, that's about 2 months. How much progress has been made with regards to this reconciliation from that meeting?
I honestly cannot speak to issues of reconciliation in the party as we speak now because I'm not a member of the working committee.
You're a member of the party?
I'm a member of the party, but I'm not a member of the National Working Committee, whose responsibility is to run the party on day-by-day basis. I'm a member of NEC, the National Executive Committee, but no NEC meeting had been held in a while. And that is the only avenue through which I can understand the direction of the party.
So two things now. As a member of the NEC, what reconciliatory moves have you seen the party through the National Working Committee initiate? That's one. And then secondly, as a member of the party, when you look at what happened in June 2 months ago, and how it seemed as though everybody wanted the next level for the PDP with regards to unity, what can you see? Because we have elections coming up.
If you recall, aside this discussion, and in the course of the discussion, I did say that the direction of thought in the party is to have a unity of purpose so that when judgment is delivered in the tribunal or at the Supreme Court, and there's a chance of a repeat election, so that the party can go into it as one body. You remember I said that, I put that out. But to speak to the issue of the processes concerning unity in the party, concerning reconciliation in the party, like I said earlier on also, as a member of NEC, that has not been brought before the NEC.
But as a member of the party, I recall, and I'd like to get your position as a member of the party, because you are you should be very much interested in the unity of the party, especially considering that you were a former member of the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party. We've seen leadership changes in the party since you left, and that's raised a lot of reactions as to how that happened. But now, when you look at the statement of Senator Dino Melaye in June when that retreat held, and him advising or appealing to the Oyo State Governor that if you believe that this is a starting point for healing, would you please attend the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal to show solidarity for the presidential candidate? That did not happen. I beg your pardon. That did not happen. So with regards to unity, especially considering the governors of the People's Democratic Party as it stands now, do you see a united People's Democratic Party? One, if you don't see that, do you see efforts that suggest that the PDP is working towards uniting for a common goal of both the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal outcome and the forthcoming off-season elections?
I strongly believe that the hierarchy of the party as we speak now, that's Ambassador Damagom's leadership, should be working towards the unity of the party. I mean, that's the only option available to them. And I believe that they should be doing so, one, for the purposes of a possible outcome that will be favorable to the party, and even beyond the tribunal. I think we need that unity. And I'm one of the people who has consistently canvassed reconciliation, who has consistently canvassed unity in the party. I'm confident, because I seem to have an understanding of the party. And as a result of that, I am confident that the PDP, no matter what the challenges are today, will still remain a political party of repute in Nigeria.
Well, you know, this is what the PDP said going into the elections, and it turned out that the division within the party largely affected the party. So what would you advise the National Working Committee on how to go about this reconciliation?
Well, what to advise the National Working Committee about reconciliation is that you need to be guided by truth. That's the basis. You must be guided. Where is politics and partisanship always come into the arena, because it is politics. At the essence of it in itself is partisanship. However, you must find a way to achieve cohesion in the party. You see, all that happened ahead of the election should be put behind. And I've said that over and over. That should be put behind. Let us regenerate the party. And like I said at the beginning, I think that is the drive in the party now. And that is why a lot of things that ought to have happened had not happened. Because there are people who believe that we can still pull together. And I subscribe to that pulling together.
Well, with regards to the governors, you know how important the governors are to the success of political parties.
Yeah.
Now, the PDP has a crop of new governors. I think 90% of the governors in the PDP are new. And they are to be led by a couple of old ones who have had their own issues with the PDP as well, specifically Governor Bala Mohammed, who is the head of the PDP Governors Forum now. What sort of conversations should the governors be having? I believe that they should also be leading the reconciliation, not just the National Working Committee.
Well, I recall that at their last meeting, what was put in the public space, which I read, spoke about the need for unity, the need for peer review mechanism, the need for collaboration among the fellow governors. I think that in itself is a good direction and it provides leadership. But coming to the party, bringing that to the party, I think the unity that abounds among the governors will directly translate into the unity that can be raised or that can be formed within the People's Democratic Party. So a lot depends on the direction that the Governors Forum of the party is going. I agree with you absolutely that they have more to do to ensure that we have this unity in the party.
You believe that the governors are united, PDP governors are united?
I want to believe so. I want to believe so that they are united.
You believe that the Rivers State governor is also as committed to the PDP as the rest of the governors?
He's the deputy chairman of the governors.
Yes, but he's not attended their meetings.
That's not correct. He's attended one.
One meeting. I recall that.
And how many meetings have been held?
I recall he was not at the reconciliatory meeting. He was not at the meeting that held in July, to the point that the deputy national youth leader had to call his attention, saying that he is not towing the right path, and he may be towing the path of his former boss, former governor of Rivers State and now minister. I also recall that the Governor Bala Mohammed had to create an excuse for him, or say that this is what he said was his excuse for not attending one of those meetings as well.
I remember that it was the meeting in Bauchi that he was named the deputy chairman of the Governors Forum. I don't know whether he wasn't present, but I remember that it was at that meeting. And since that meeting, only one meeting had held. I think the one in July in Abuja here, which is the one you are saying that he didn't attend. But one thing that we must agree to is that even the former governor and minister now, Governor Nyesom Wike, has not at any point said that he's no longer a member of the People's Democratic Party. I haven't heard that from him. I have not. Irrespective of what had transpired, he hadn't said so. And I cannot fathom what he will likely say or what will likely be his direction. You can only judge a man by his own action and his words. And as we speak now, he hasn't said he's not a member of the PDP.
We'll come to him and the position of the PDP on matters concerning him. But let's just talk about the off-season elections right now. I think it's, for many, it's disturbing that since somebody like Wike spoke up against the party giving the governorship tickets to Dino Melaye, there's been no sort of reconciliation between him as a leader of the party, if the party still considers him a leader, and someone like Dino Melaye going into the elections. There will be elections in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa. So what's the PDP doing about specifically, say, Kogi State, where Nyesom Wike and Dino Melaye, the governorship candidates, don't seem to be on the same terms?
There are a lot of things going into that particular situation. And I can sit here and say that to you. There are a lot of efforts in that direction. But you know, since it has not crystallized, and you are not a member of the PDP, you are not likely going to know. And we cannot bring out everything that we are doing into the public space. But I can tell you that efforts are being made individually and collectively to make sure that that area is properly harmonized.
Well, with regards to the off-season elections, especially because, you know, if we even take our attention slightly away from Rivers, Kogi, and Bayelsa, the Edo State election is coming up.
No, that's well. Imo, Kogi,
Imo,
and Bayelsa. Yeah.
Let's look at the Edo State elections as well and see what is playing out. I think it's interesting to many that the PDP has not stepped into the issue between Governor Bobaseki and Philip Shaibu. Are you concerned as well that it's festering and no one's saying anything within the PDP?
I'm concerned. I didn't actually follow it until the incident of yesterday, I think, where they said the governor was shut out.
Sunday and Monday.
Okay, Sunday, okay, where they said the governor was shut out of the function and all that. I don't think the issue should get there. You know, it was under the leadership of Secondus, in which I was a member, that Governor Obaseki came to the People's Democratic Party. And I can recall the bond that existed between him and his deputy, Philip Shuaibu, so much that he insisted that he must run with him, even when the party leaders in their home state, Edo, thought otherwise. He insisted. So I don't know what could have come in between them. The feeling that I'm getting that, oh no, the deputy governor wants to run now, and the governor believes that the slot should go to the central zone, or maybe to be retained in the south, and all that and all that. But whatever the situation is, I want to appeal to the Damagum leadership to move into Edo and resolve whatever the issues are. And that's what I want to say. So, we'll talk about the off-season election in my home state, in Kogi State. I'm completely convinced that the People's Democratic Party made the right choice in Senator Dino Melaye. And I know it as a fact that the majority of the ordinary people on the streets of Kogi State believe that they need a rescuer at this moment, because the situation in Kogi is horribly bad. So much that directors in the local government service are earning salaries that are less than 20,000. So much that, and you know, that is my home state. And we are a civil service state. We don't have industries, except the Obajana cement, which doesn't belong to the government. And people live, the economy of the state is run on what money that comes through the public service. And you have a situation where pensioners don't get their pension. We have a situation where salaries are paid in percentages. It is in a horrible state. And if you take the style of politics of Dino Melaye, Dino has been that candidate among the rank of those who are contesting now that has got the experience in political activity. He was elected to the House of Rep. He's been elected into the Senate. He has been this, he has been that. And he's the candidate of the party today. And as such, he has an understanding of the nuances of the state. I can recall that at a point in time in our life in the state, when the non-payment of salary became very severe, Dino had to kneel down before his members in the Senate then, that they should help Kogi State. And they raised funds and they bought truckloads of rice that were being taken to the state to help the people. The state government didn't allow that.
Was it the entire state or his senatorial district?
Entire state. Going to the entire state, going to the labor. So whichever angle you come from, whichever way you look at it, is inconceivable that the governor of the state, Bello, will now go to his own homestead and pick a candidate that he wants to hand over to.
But that's not your party.
It's not my party. My party is the People's Democratic Party.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I am from Kogi State, even though I don't reside in Kogi permanently, but I vote in Kogi State. And I'm talking to you about the pains, about the feelings of the people. And even if you take the trajectory beyond the issue of what happened in the government, I would not say, oh, okay, let's look at the situation report of the state in terms of who becomes the governor. We have a situation in which only Kogi West has not produced a governor. Central, where Governor Yabilo comes from, has been governor of Kogi for 8 years. They were governor of Kwara for 4 years. If you go to the east, you have situations where they have been governor over and over. So the generality of opinion in Kogi State is that let the governorship rotate to Kogi West. So whichever factor, whichever angle you want to come from in respect of Kogi governorship, the odd favors Dino Melaye.
It favors Dino Melaye?
Yes.
But do you understand that the people of Kogi State, that Dino Melaye lost his senatorial election, How do you believe that he
No,
will win?
he did not lose senatorial election. He didn't. We know what happened. Go to Kogi West and ask. He did not lose senatorial election. He lost primary election in the last election in the Senate. And he proceeded from there and won the primary for governorship. Even in the election in 2019, in spite of the fact that Jayabelu was incumbent, he won the election. Then they went to the tribunal. And as usual, the judicial factor in the Nigerian politics, that's how they took him out. So he didn't lose election.
So you question the judgment of the tribunal on that particular election?
That particular election.
Yes.
When judgment was delivered, without even addresses by the lawyers. What can be, I don't know how to put it, but what can be more terrible than that? What can? But I want to assure you that as we speak today, as we speak now, that clearly Dino is the candidate to beat in this November 11 election in Kogi State. And so, when you go to Imo State and you go to Bayelsa,
let's stay with Kogi State. Okay. It's your state now. You know, some concerns as to whether or not the people of Kogi State are informed enough to know how to make the right decision with regard to voting, because it would almost seem that from what you're saying, that the confidence of the people may not be as strong, considering the strength of the APC in the state. Are the people informed enough to know who and why they are voting for that candidate, and perhaps stay to defend their votes?
Terry, I don't know whether you say I'm a correspondent in Lokoja.
Yes, we do.
Kogi State capital.
Yes, we do.
Okay, just tell him to give you a honest analysis, a honest one. I'm not talking about a sponsored analysis. Let him go to the market in any community in Kogi State and ask how they are faring. Let him go to any local government in Kogi State and compare the number of staff that were coming to work maybe some 2, 3, maybe some 7 years ago with those coming to work today. And that it should also check the living standard of the people. It should also ask questions about the purchasing power of the people, and let him give you a feedback. I'm from Kogi State, and I'm speaking to the horrible situation of the state, in which fully bodied people who even go, when even they go farming, they can't get their produce home because they have issues with herders who will now bring their animals to eat their crops. And even those who are working, they don't even get salaries. Some of them will tell you that they cannot even remember when the last percentage that they got. That is whatever they bring. You understand? People who have attained the level of directors in public service are getting a salary of 17,000 naira, 10,000 naira.
You know, we're saying the same thing. So I asked if the people were informed enough. Just a second. I asked if the people were informed enough to know who to vote for and why. And then you talk about how impoverished they are and how it's affecting their livelihood such that they don't come to work anymore. They almost don't go to their farms anymore. So why are the people not speaking out?
They are speaking. When I live here, at the last empowerment project that Dino had in Lokoja, I can forward video to you so that you can hear what the people of Kogi State are saying. Hunger, how impoverished they have become. These are common things on the street. Many people in Kogi State today are putting their cars for sale because they can afford fuel. That's the situation. Forget the razzmatazz that the people in government are bringing. Even the aides of the governor, if you ask them in private, I'm not saying in public, go and talk to them in public, they will tell you the number of months they are being owed in salaries. And that's why we are not bothered. And the candidate of the party is not bothered. He's going ahead and speaking to the ordinary people. He's campaigning to them and drawing them to focus on the attentions concerning their current situation and to judge by themselves whether the life they live now is the best for them. And I can assure you, all we are asking for is that we hope that Professor Mahmoud Yakubu will be more honest with the election process in this off-season election. So that somehow, like I normally say to him, he might use one election to redeem the battered image of the commission and himself.
You know, when we talk about the unity of the PDP at national level as we approach the judgment of the Supreme Court, there are also concerns as to perhaps the unity of the People's Democratic Party or the strength of the party in Kogi State. We have seen elections come, elections go, and we've seen the outcomes of these elections, even up to National Assembly level. What exactly are the structures that the People's Democratic Party has on ground that will make the PDP believe that it will win this election over an APC government that has ruled over the state in the past 8 years?
When you talk about structure, essentially, the structure are the people. One, the structure are the formations of the party. And as I speak with you today, PDP remains the party that has members, that has executives, up to the polling unit levels in Kogi State. PDP remains the only party that when you ask the people who provided water for you in government, they will tell you it's PDP. Who provided you road, they will tell you it's PDP. Who ensured that you were not owed in salaries and wages, they will say it's PDP. So there are reminiscences, particularly in the course of this intervention that is having, of how their lives were far better under the PDP than they have now. But I'm not dismissing your assertion about the readiness of the people. And I guess, like they say in Kogi today, that we hope that when they bring to 2,000 again, it will not change your mind. The last 2,000 you collected is finished now. The last 5,000 you were paid to vote is gone into the air now. So in this new trajectory, we hope that this will not form the basis. But you know that in the last election, in the last governorship election in the state, I think you recall that they brought a helicopter to come and shoot down at people who were on the line to cast their ballots in Kogi State. So that's why we say that, we hope this coming election, for as much as Prof. Yakubu can achieve, we hope that it will be a situation that can be used to heal the image of the commission and also heal the image of Prof.
It would seem that the APC in Kogi State isn't that bothered about the PDP because I find that he's more concerned about the SDP candidates. Does this suggest to you that the APC is not scared?
No.
Scared about your candidate? You recall that was one of the things that former Governor Yeson Wike at the time said, that he doesn't believe that Dino Melaye can win the election for the PDP. He believes there's someone strong. And he said that if you give this to Dino Melaye, consider that we've lost the election.
No, I don't agree with you.
Not me. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm telling you what he said.
You see, when two friends are quarreling, you understand, issues will come up. I can say here that I'm aware that in the past, when there were no issues, they were two jolly friends. So, but when issue arose, or when issues come up, but at any rate, like I told you, we are working on that aspect. But when you talk about, maybe Yaya is not bothered about Dino because he believes that Dino is inconsequential or something, that's very good for us. We love him to be underrated. But the truth of the matter today, the governor himself is aware, and he knows it as a fact, that the candidate of the SDP is from APC. The candidate of Accord, and I'm talking about Akpabana, is also from APC. We can go on and on and on and name candidates of parties that came out of the APC to come and contest. So that in itself is a division of votes. You understand? But you will not say that about the People's Democratic Party. And because when you deny the people for so long a period, for instance, in almost 4 years of the second term of the governor, purchasing power has become too low. People are looking for how to even survive till the following day. So if you put money on the ground and say, oh, come and greet me and come and take money, people will go there and come and greet you and come and take your money now. But does it suggest that on the day of the election, whereas you will be in your polling unit, they will be in their own polling unit, that they will vote for you or they will vote for your hand-picked candidates? I don't think it's right.
Is the Chief Security Officer of the state providing a level playing field for all political parties ahead of the election?
The governor of the state?
Is he?
As Chief Security Officer. Are you not aware that an agency of that government just came out a few days ago and they are asking that candidates of other political parties should come and pay a sum of over 1 billion naira to be able to campaign and to be able to erect signages? Does that tell you about a free and fair process in the state government? Whereas the totality of the sum contained in the Electoral Act for governorship is 1 billion naira. So what you are saying in essence is that, oh, they should even commit a crime against the state. And when I mean the state, the federation, by outspending what the Electoral Act has placed a ceiling on. And that money should be paid to an agency under your government. It doesn't make sense. It's inoperative. And as a matter of fact, it doesn't show a readiness for free and fair election.
So, just as we wrap up this conversation on Kogi State now, what must change in Kogi when the next administration comes in?
Oh, Dino has assured the people. He's speaking to the people realistically. He's speaking to them on the losses that they are passing through now. And he's telling them that, look, when he's elected and sworn into office, one, there will be no percentages salaries in the state. I've told you in the beginning that basically ours is a civil service state and that the economy of the state revolves around what is operating within the confines of the civil service. And once you are able to bring back the people that were indiscriminately sacked from office, once we are able to cash back promotions that were done without cash backing, once we are able to pay the people their right salaries, and let me also add that Dino is already thinking out of the box for the state, because he is saying that, look, we have mineral resources in abundance in this state, and that we do not even need to wait on fact before we can project the state. And people who live in those states believe him. They agree with what he's saying. They believe that he has a solution to the issues. And Dino is coming around to say that, look, don't let us follow the issue of ethnicity in this election. I am from Kogi West, but I'm appealing to you in the central. I'm appealing to you in the east that let equity, justice, and fairness be your guide. Because I will not come in and act like a Muslim governor or a Christian governor, but he will act as a governor who has the fear of God in him. And he's not coming to act like an Ibira governor or an Igala governor or an Okun governor, but he will be the governor of Kogi State and for all the people of the state. So the people are having their buy-in into the conversation that Dino is bringing. And I must tell you as a fact, no any other candidate of any other political party in Kogi State ahead of this election that is speaking to the issues, except Dino Melai.
You've repeatedly talked about the Independent National Electoral Commission, and it's based on the perception of the People's Democratic Party from the general elections. But the Independent National Electoral Commission has been holding meetings for some time now, admitting to some errors and promising to correct them in the off-season elections. Are you taking that with a pinch of salt, or do you believe that these errors will indeed be corrected?
Honestly, if you ask my honest opinion, I don't think, not just myself, not just about me, I don't think majority of Nigerians can believe anything that is coming from my name. And that's why I have consistently said that it is my hope that Professor Mahmoud Yakubu will use the election of Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa to prove to Nigerians that maybe what happened in the past elections were errors, and they want to correct those errors now, so that they can improve on the battered image of the commission and even the image of Professor Yakubu himself. That's the honest. You know, I've said this over and over at many of the engagements in national public discourse that I've had. There's a need for him and for his own people, for generations after him, to be able to correct this impression that he has given out in the public space. And I believe that he can use the Kogi election, he can use the Imo election, he can use the Bayelsa election to correct this perception.
But are you also concerned about federal might? It's been a theme in the past administration, but now you have a new administration. Would you speak to the president with regards to perhaps federal might as these elections approach?
Well, I've always said that I don't want to engage with the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu until all the issues in the tribunal are resolved. I don't want to deliberate on what he's doing or what he's not doing. I don't want to get myself involved in that. But having said that, it will also speak to him as an opposition politician, who he was before he was elected, if he allowed the process that will be transparent in the elections ahead.
Okay, as we round up this conversation now, let's look at something critical. It's the ministerial appointment of former Governor Nyesom Wike, who is now the Minister of the FCT, where you are, where your party secretariat is, and all that. What do you make of a member of your party being appointed as minister under the APC?
Well, Terry, I told you from the beginning that the party is a mix. And even if you go to a church, it is a mix. In the mosque, it is a mix. People choose what they want. They choose what they desire. And the fact that a particular person goes this way doesn't mean that others will go that way. Others could as well go the other way. He could have his reasons. But I think what's important is for the party leadership to be able to take a decision on what we are going to do as a party. I think that's important. And I think the party leadership is shying away from that responsibility.
When you say take a decision, is it based on his ministerial appointment or his actions before, during the elections? Which one is it?
The elections have come and gone.
So your party is concerned that he accepted the ministerial appointments while they're in court?
I have told you that I am not the spokesperson of the party, one. I'm no longer the spokesperson of the party, one. I'm not a member of the National Working Committee that is charged with the responsibility of running the party on a day-by-day basis. And I also established in the beginning that I am a member of NEC in the party, and that we have not had a NEC meeting for a period of time. So if we had a NEC meeting and these issues are brought before NEC and a decision is collectively taken, then I can come here and speak to it. But as we speak now, anything that I'm telling you
these
will be my personal opinion.
So I'm asking
which does not matter among the crop.
So beyond your personal opinion, as someone who's been a member of the National Working Committee and an active member of the People's Democratic Party and the NEC, what are your concerns with regards to Nyesom Wike, a minister of the Federal Capital Territory on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, but in the cabinet of the APC? Is it commendable, or are there concerns with regards to how he's worked for the APC while he was governor? And then the fact that he's accepted his appointment while your party, the party which he belongs to, is in court. Also to mention that when he was asked which flag he would hang in his office, he did not say the PDP.
He did not say the APC either.
Absolutely, ordinarily. It would be a straightforward thing if it wasn't an APC administration for him to say the APC.
Well, Terry, to be honest with you, I told you from the beginning that I subscribe to the People's Democratic Party as a member. And I also subscribe to the ideology and the philosophy of the party. And until the party comes out and take a decision, whatever I'm saying will be very personal to me, and it will have of no consequence or any effect. It will remain my own opinion.
Yes, so say your opinion.
No, I can't say my opinion here now. I say my opinion at the next meeting. If I say my opinion here, of what use is it to you or to anybody?
I mean, I
know what you are looking for.
I
Terry.
had hoped you would
Terry,
put your party
Terry, I know what you are looking for. What you are looking for is a statement that will generate controversy and further create division in my political party.
I really am more interested in the unity or otherwise.
I will not go that route. I will wait for the party to take its decision. I remember you asked me about a conflict between Senator Dino and Governor, now Minister Nyesom Wike. And I said that, look, there are a lot of efforts underground.
So if you will not say your opinion, here's something that I think you'd be very much familiar with.
Yes.
The Minister of the FCT now, Nyesom Wike, says that PDP governors submitted names, ministerial nominations to the president. The president wrote to all the governors, including PDP governors, and they submitted names. He was picked. As a member of the National Working Committee, former member of the National Working Committee, yes. During their time as National Working Committee, were you privy to something like this, where the Buhari administration wrote to all governors, including the PDP?
No. President Muhammadu Buhari had no relationship of any sort with any opposition party, to the best of my understanding and to the best of my...
So he never wrote to any
PDP. He never invited us even to a meeting. But I can remember very well that in the early stage of our leadership, that we were invited to come and break Salah with the president. Once, I can't remember, maybe 1 or 2 persons went, or 3 persons, and they didn't like the experience. And after that, it never happened. But, let's be factual, and because we should be guided by history also. You remember that when President Olusegun Obasanjo was elected into office in 1999, you remember that he tried to form a broad-based governance, and he invited the AG then to come and serve. He invited the PDP then the ANPP then to come and serve. And I remember that, those parties nominated persons into the government. But I can say that under the current regime, under the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime, I have not received any information showcasing that the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did invite the People's Democratic Party to nominate people or persons into his government. I'm not aware.
So it's not normal it's not a practice that where you've experienced before as a member of the National Working Committee.
I'm not conversant with that. But I have also, even before former Governor Wike came out and spoke to the issue of governors, the 36 state governors, being requested by
the president,
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to nominate persons into
ministerial positions.
Not ministerial, board membership. That's what I heard.
Board membership of what? Board membership of
government agencies and parastatals now. That's what I heard. Even before Governor Wike came out.
But not ministerial.
Not ministerial. You know that. If it's ministerial, that means that PDP will have had like 13 ministers in their government now. If it's ministerial that they were invited for, no. But it also goes to support what Governor Wike is trying to explain. Why is his own case different? And as you and I are speaking, I have not read a reaction from any state dismissing what Governor Wike has said. But going further in that trajectory, I can say that, look, Asiwaju is running a government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as it is now, even though my party has not recognized that. Do you understand? So if we chose to be dealing with our governors, it doesn't stop them from being members of the People's Democratic Party. It doesn't remove them from being members of the
So where does sanctions come in? Because the FCT minister did say that he heard that the PDP wants to sanction him. And that's when he went on to say that they all received nominations, all the governors, including PDP governors. So where does the conversation of sanction come?
Well, Terry, I have told you here, and even if the question comes in various forms, I will stand my point, that no NEC meeting has held. The last meeting that we had was a stakeholders meeting. And issues like this did not come
I
out.
mean, he's a very high-ranking member of your party, so he would hear things that even you and I may not hear.
I agree with you. Absolutely, I've said that.
But since you talk about your opinion so much,
Yes.
opinion as a member of NEC and member of the party,
Yes.
do you think that a conversation of sanctions should be had?
I'm not. Look, if
should be. I'm not saying whether it's going on or not. Is it something that should come up,
Terry,
considering what he's raised?
Terry, if we go to NEC meeting today, issues will be raised, they will be discussed, and they will be trashed. And no matter what anybody is saying outside of NEC, if it has not come to NEC, it's not an issue before the party. Let's be honest. It is not an issue. It remains private discussions. That if we want to follow the Constitution 2017 of the People's Democratic Party, whatever you are saying here, or anybody is saying in the outside, or whoever is saying it in the market or in the church or in the mosque, if it doesn't come before NEC, it's not an issue before the party. So, and I don't want to use my own chance or my own opportunity that you have accorded me to come and speak on this platform to create tensions within our party. No.
Okay.
Let us go to NEC. If we have a NEC meeting today, whatever anybody wants to suggest, they will bring it there.
When was the last NEC meeting?
I can't remember.
What has the NEC had a meeting since after the elections?
No.
Is the NEC not concerned about the state of the party to call for a meeting?
That's left to the chairman.
But are you concerned about the state of the party and you believe that the NEC should call for a meeting?
Many members of the party are concerned about the state of the party. I can say that anywhere without apologies.
So why is there no NEC meeting?
Because it has not been decided that NEC should hold.
But that's easy. That's easy answer. I mean, there are underlying answers that you should be giving at this point, understanding the significance of a NEC meeting, considering the state of the party and off-season elections that are scheduled to hold in a couple of months.
Well, for the off-season elections, a National Campaign Council has been established as required of the party for the various states. They have been inaugurated. Committees are being formed. The activities of the party is ongoing.
Okay, just before I say goodbye to you, I know you've chosen to keep quiet about the Asiwaju administration because you believe that your party is coming, as they say.
We are in court.
Atiku is coming.
The party is in court.
But how is it hitting you as a Nigerian? I mean, you see the state of the country and the concerns and then the policies of the administration as an individual. How is it hitting you?
But Terry, why are you bringing this back now? I thought we had agreed that I would not speak about the Asiwaju administration.
I'm saying you as a Nigerian.
As a Nigerian.
How is it affecting? How are the policies affecting you?
Terry, how are the policies affecting you?
Well, I feel if we change seats, I'd answer that. But for now,
I hope I won't come and change this.
But are you living well? Are you living well?
I hope I won't come and change this seat very soon.
Well, I don't think so.
Well, honestly, I believe that anybody who is in government in the country today, whoever is running the show in the governance of our nation today, and is not thinking about bringing down the cost of governance, is not ready yet. Such a person is not ready. And I also believe that any government, any administration that has the intention, no matter how little, to bring down the cost of governance will not have a ministerial appointment running to about 48 persons. I really don't understand that. But like I've said repeatedly, and maybe I also want to appeal to those who are in government now, that the Niger issue, the popular position on the streets of Nigeria today is that a hungry man cannot fight war. A majority of Nigerians today, even if they are not speaking, even if they are silent in their pains, they are not part of any war with any other country. They do not expect any president to play Afghanistanism. They expect any president to work on the situation that is domestic and help them out of the mess in which we have all found ourselves. I'll stop at this point.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Mr. Ologbondiyan, I see you've been in the corridors of politics for so long. I'm wondering why you've not picked a form. You don't want to.
I picked once now.
Active.
I was not elected.
Are you discouraged?
No.
I didn't understand what actual politics
I won't speak. I
is.
wanted to go to House of Rep, but
Yes.
I didn't cross the primary level.
Is that discouraging?
And so, no, it's not discouraging. But I've been around. I've been in the party. After that, I contested election in the party and I won.
Okay. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, I've been speaking with the former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, who is a former spokesperson of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Organization as well, Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan. And that's Political Paradigm. Thank you very much for your time. Remember that you can catch this episode and others by simply searching YouTube or go to channelstv.com. I'm Terry Kumi. Goodbye.